Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. This is the New Year special. I'm joined by special guests Marlie, Michelle, and Esteban. But first up, it's that special intro. Yes, everybody, welcome back to Football United TV. And I want to say, I hope you had a Merry Christmas. So I'm cheersing you all. And we're going into 2023. This is the New Year special. Hello, Marlie, mate. How are you doing? Welcome back, bro, might I say.
Thank you, man. Thank you. I'm so glad to be back. I've missed this, as you guys, if you've been following the channel for a while. Matt's not only like someone I worked with on YouTube, like he's one of my closest friends, and I missed him a lot. So just being around him on the same screen like makes me happy. And yeah, let's chat some football. Two of my good friends down here as well. I'm excited.
Brilliant, Charlie. Same back to you as well. So, we talk a lot off stream as much as we try and do a lot on stream. Michelle, welcome back. Hope you had a wonderful Christmas. How are you doing?
Hello, I'm great. Saludos from Austin, Texas. I'm great. It's so nice to see you guys again. It's always a pleasure to be with you. I know it's so hard to collaborate at times because like 1 p.m. here, and I don't know what time. I'm really bad with time zones, so I don't know. You guys are probably like sleeping. I don't know if someone's waking up. But yeah.
Brilliant. And Esteban, welcome back, mate. We've done a lot over the World Cup this year. Thank you so much for joining us again. How was your Christmas, mate?
It was amazing. I hope everyone had a great Christmas Eve this year, and I'm super happy of being here once again with Marley. I miss him a lot, and knowing Michelle, and of course, as I always say, speaking about football is the thing that I like the most in the world. Not because I'm very bad at playing it, but we try. We try.
You're probably really good, I bet. You're just being really humble.
No. I'm definitely not. I'm definitely not.
Well, let's go on to the first subject. Obviously, we're going to talk about the highlights, footballing highlights of the year. And of course, probably number one for most people will be Messi and Argentina lifting the World Cup after 36-year wait. Maradona lifting the last time they won it. This time, Messi. Probably the last time he's going to be in a World Cup as well. Possibly going to America, depending on how he feels in 4 years' time, because he is getting on a bit. Charlie, starting with you, mate. What did you think about this? I know from your Brazilian perspective, you probably thought you should be the ones getting them in the semi-finals, but it wasn't to be. And I did hear actually that a lot of Brazilian fans were rooting for Argentina to win this, which was quite strange, apparently.
I definitely was rooting for Argentina. Well, first of all, it was definitely frustrating. This one felt I thought France was going to win the World Cup like from the beginning, but it definitely felt like there was a good chance Brazil was going to reach the final this time. Like we had a solid team playing well together, like getting good results before. I'm not a huge fan of the manager, not at all. Kind of hate him, and maybe I'll get to spend some minutes talking about like what Brazil can do in the future with that. But we have a much better side than Argentina when you look at it. Like Argentina, it's incredible that Messi did this because it's probably the worst Argentina he's ever played with in a World Cup. It's when you look at the lineup, when you're talking about like world class players, of course there's some up and coming talent, some amazing young talent in Argentina, of course. But when you're talking about like that brand, like top tier player, you have Messi and Di Maria, and they've had Carlitos in the past, Tevez, like he was amazing. Aguero always flying as well. So it's remarkable. And I just wanted this European dominance to stop a little bit. the last time someone outside of Europe won was in 2002. So it's been 20 years. I'm glad that changed. Plus, from a logical perspective, France is freaking scary. Like the amount of talent they have, and they could very well win the next World Cup. So if they had one just now, they'd be at 4 next time because they like Kylian Mbappe is crazy, just crazy good. Like it's unbelievable, and the amount of talent around him, the young players they have in France, it's a scary perspective. So yeah, my hermanos, congratulations! I'm really happy, and Messi deserved it. I honestly feel like I'm always gonna put Pele first, but like from what I saw from football, Messi's the GOAT, so the second greatest of all time. When you're talking about overall, he deserved it.
Well said. I know, Michelle, maybe your thoughts on this might be a little different because the Mexican fans don't want Argentina to win anything, do they? So you weren't rooting for Argentina in a sense. But what did you make of this for Messi in Argentina? The fact they had a 36-year wait to lift that precious World Cup trophy.
Yeah, I mean, I feel like Mexico's divided. You have those really hardcore Messi fans that are Mexicans that, they love Messi and respect, what Argentina is, when it comes to club. Obviously they always give Mexico such a tough time when they play. Or it's like this really big rivalry in a sense, but it's not really a rivalry. But, so me as a fan, I couldn't root for Argentina. I really wanted France to win. It's very weird, this dynamic over here in Mexico and South America. It's like you rooted for them, but then kind of against them, right? In a sense. And obviously Messi's great. I mean, look, you give him the ball, he'll do something, and he that's what he did for this team, right? For this Argentinian team. As you mentioned, Argentina had such a young talent that you really aren't used to seeing. You're used to seeing these big names in Argentina, as you mentioned, like Agüero and all these, but all these guys are retired or either retiring. So it was really fun to see. My respect to Mbappe. He basically pulled that whole team when it comes to France by himself. And at the last half, I woke up, I think it was like the 45th minute. That's how excited I wasn't to watch the final because I knew, I was like, France is gonna have this in the bag, and then I woke up and it was like 2-0. But I have to obviously give credit to Messi. I really wanted a final to be like Portugal and Argentina, and then just like so we could just like because there's always this talk about Ronaldo and Messi, right? So I just wanted it to be done with. Unfortunately, that didn't happen. My perfect world, it would have, but it's fine. I mean, I think it was one of the best World Cups that I've seen. So it was, congrats to them. We're all Latinos at the end of the day. You want them, a Latino to win, as you were mentioning. I had Brazil winning it. I had Argentina possibly taking it, but I definitely had Brazil up there. But yeah, you saw Neymar, but then you really didn't see him shine as he used to.
Yeah.
So it's definitely a little bit worrisome for my guys in a sense.
Yeah.
And so much top talent, though, and then for them just to go out like that, I was a little frustrated myself.
That was horrible. That was freaking horrible.
Yeah. So and then we could dive into Mexico, but that was like, I think I had talked to you, Matt, prior, and I had really low expectations for them. The last game that they played against Celia Audita, it was amazing. It's what I knew that this team could do, but they didn't do it until the third game. And that's what always happens to Mexico. They don't show up until they need to show up. And that's the frustration that I had as well with Tata Martino, not calling the right people or players. And so it was a tough loss, but it was like always, the goat always shines for Mexico, and that's Guillermo Ochoa. And now he's parted way. I know. He always shines, blocking that penalty with Lewandowski. I mean, that was a horrible penalty. I think I saw the worst penalties actually in this World Cup. It's the only downside. But yeah, now he's parted ways with America, one of the richest teams in Liga MX. And now he's going to Serie A, returning back to Europe. So I guess that's the bright side of few players going to Europe from this World Cup that were able to shine with the few minutes that they had. And then, yeah, I mean, in a nutshell, I mean, that's really all I had to say on my end when it comes to this El Tri team. A little bit disappointing, for sure.
Yeah, I completely agree. But then at the end of the day, you are joint hosts next time, so you can look towards the future, can't you? Esteban, what did you make of this, mate? And I think I agree with Michelle. It's definitely one of the best World Cup finals I've ever seen. And Mbappe, unfortunately, equaling Jeff Hurst's hat trick in a World Cup final, which is tremendous. I mean, after like 60 or something years, brilliant from him. Unfortunate, of course, like Marlie said as well, he's going to be a great talent for the future. And he's already won a World Cup, so I don't feel too bad for him. What did you make of it?
He's 100% retiring as the highest goal scorer in the history of World Cups. Like, that's guaranteed.
Yeah, definitely. He has already like 11 goals, and he's only 24 years old.
Yeah, I think it's 12. Yeah, it's crazy.
It's simply crazy. But I'm one of those hardcore Messi fans Michelle was speaking about. Despite I am Colombian, and the only good thing that Colombia wasn't in the World Cup is that I could sit down and relax and watch the games without any pressure, and I could just root for Argentina the whole tournament. I think that before the start of the tournament, there were a lot of coincidences with the '86 World Cup. Like, Canada wasn't in a World Cup since Mexico '86. Nigeria wasn't in a World Cup, wasn't in the '86 World Cup, and wasn't in this one as well. And some crazy stuff like the movie Top Gun. Have you seen Top Gun? With the first movie of Top Gun was in the '86, the year of '86. The second one was this year. So all these crazy facts, all these crazy facts, they call in Argentina like Kabbalah or Mystic, something like this. Everyone was super excited about this World Cup, and it was just meant to be, as just Marlie said. It was just poetic, and how the team, after the loss with Saudi Arabia in the first game, just starting to get better and better. I think that the first half of the final was the best play that I have seen for a national team playing with Messi. It was simply crazy of how they just handled to score 2 goals without any problem. But then Mbappe just started to do his things, and 5 minutes was enough for him to equalize the game. And by far is one of the best games I have ever seen. I was kind of crying, dying on the inside if Messi wasn't able to get that World Cup. But at the end of the day, everything was just perfect for him. And yeah, you just show us here. The Argentinian people was super crazy. I think that 3 or 4 days of celebration. There were millions of people.
See in the tower there, people right at the top there, just hanging out with what looks to be an Argentinian shirt. It's very brave indeed.
They are crazy about football, trust me, and I think that it was just simply beautiful. I am looking forward to go to Argentina actually. To get some vacations there, but to live all the football experience, go to all the neighborhood clubs and see how passionate they are for the football is simply amazing for me. And I think that it was meant to be for them this year.
Yeah. Plus, there's something really, I think it's worth mentioning as well. Like, Argentina, not too long ago, I think it was in between the last World Cup and this one, they lost their god. Right, Maradona passed away, and Messi just reached that status, like God status for Argentinians. I know the world sees him as one already, but in Argentina, you're not a god if you don't win the World Cup.
Well, Messi also was seen as a Spaniard for quite some time, wasn't he? He wasn't seen as one of their own, so this sort of really signified the fact that, and I think he was swearing, like you could hear it on TV, swearing in like an Argentinian slang, which like made the fans really happy and sort of really it brought him, I think, closer to him. And I think now you'll see that he's up there definitely with Maradona as one of the best Argentina, and if not the world, has ever produced, right?
I think
He
in
lost three
Argentina the debate's
finals.
still up. Yeah, exactly. But now the world probably sees Messi as better than Maradona already. I feel like in Argentina it's still a debate, but after he won this World Cup with the career he had, like it's
Amazing, isn't it?
yeah, I just don't see a conversation there.
Well, we'll move on to the next one. Well done to Argentina. That's definitely a highlight of 2022. Only a few weeks ago, they lifted the cup. Brilliant from them. Going to read out some comments and then we'll move on to the next one. Thank you, everybody, for tuning in. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you can. And please put in your comments about what your highlight was of this year. It can be anything in football around the world. Please let us know. Eddie's Football Waffle says, big up, Matty. Messi lifting his last Infinity Stone is the highlight for me. I think we all agree. Bobby K, Virtual Spud, big up. Brush with the popcorn. Matt Bassett in the house, evening all. He says, big up everyone on the show and in the chat. We got Bill Baggio from the Man United Agenda. Big up, Matt. See you all in the chat at 7 p.m. Big up, Miss Molina too. Glad you're here. Thank you so much for tuning in, Mel. Go check out our Introduce Yourself show we did a couple of weeks ago. It was really good. Matthew Bassett. Hi, Miss Molina. Hope you're well. Eredivisie Explorer. Hello, lads. Long time. Big up. Matt Bassett says, I think Brazil are missing the final piece of the jigsaw. An amazing team, no doubt, but just not quite there yet. Agreeing with that, Marlie?
We need a manager. Brazil has like when you're talking about the amount of good players, like you have France, Brazil, and England in the top tier. Like those are the countries with the most talent in the world now. And when you're talking like big quantity, Brazil and France step ahead. So Brazil should be doing better. Like we can't concede a counterattack goal winning like in the 117th minute. It's stupid. That doesn't happen. And Brazil just needs to drop it with the pride and get a foreign manager, because we're the country of football when it comes to playing. When it comes to managing, we're not right now. Like we don't have
Mourinho.
I don't think it suits us just because of the playing style, but someone like Ancelotti would be amazing. There's a Portuguese manager in Brazil that's freaking unbelievable, Abel Ferreira. You definitely know who he is. Like he's arguably the most successful manager in South America for the past few years. So like he'd be amazing. There's no Brazilian manager that like Chichi is the best Brazilian manager. He is. He's just not good enough for the seleção. So
I think it was like also the World Cup of the bad managers. I mean, same thing goes for Mexico. In Mexico, though, they are asking for a Mexican manager. They're over getting the foreign managers, I guess, at some point, right? But yeah, as well. I mean, you saw a lot of managers leave after the World Cup.
I want to move on to this comment for you, Michelle, because I think you might be able to answer, and maybe Esteban as well. Anthony Herbert says, big up all Cuz thoughts on Brazil in the World Cup. He's just done that. Thank you, Cuz, for coming in. BX Gunner 81, the Mexican Chavez really stood out at the World Cup. Free scoring midfielder, free kick specialist. Go for it, Michelle.
Beautiful. I think that's what I messaged you earlier today. I was like, that goal by Chavez was like a wonder. And that's what I'm talking about. There's like so much talent in guys that are able to do this, but you don't give them the minutes. Like against Argentina, the lineup was a different lineup. It was horrible. You don't have these guys competing with, what Argentina is. But Tata Martino decided to put, players that weren't fit enough. Like you put Herrera in the middle, you put Guardado. Guardado, I think, is great coming off of the bench. He's older. He does have that talent, that experience. But, why digress on the past? But yeah, Chavez, amazing, man. Is amazing. I think, that kid, I mean, there's just like so many products, other names to name in Liga MX that are able to do what he did and are top tier talent.
Yeah, Esteban, you know anything about Chavez? Did you think he did stand out in the World Cup?
I think they could do a lot more, but there was a problem starting with the lineup and squad that the Tata Martino took to Qatar. Just the fact that he was leaving Chicharito out of the squad, or Santiago Jimenez that plays in the Eredivisie, it was just ridiculous. But it's just not the thing that you expect from a team like Mexico. But also, I think that there is a bigger problem that is about the league, how they handle the league, the fact that they don't have like a relegation system and they are trying to copy the MLS system. It's just not working for them because they are just trying to make money out of the football, but they are forgetting about creating the talents. So I think there's a problem right there that could be affecting the national team. Of course, I have discussed that a lot with many Mexican friends that I have, but we will see what's for Mexico in the future. I mean, they will be heading up the next World Cup, and we expect a lot more from them, of course.
Right. Yeah. It all goes down to the federation. He definitely, Esteban has a point. But Chavez individually is a great player and he's always shined. But he just got a little bit of minutes to show that to the world.
We wanted to talk as well, as we're on the World Cup and talking about Argentina, just about another feat this year. The Moroccan team making history as the first African nation to make a semi-final in the World Cup. I mean, what's your thoughts on this, Marlie? It really is truly good for football. The underdogs, you didn't expect Morocco to get probably even out of their group, to be fair, and they dug deep every single game after that and got to... Look, they wanted to take third place, didn't they? They were really passionate about that game. Unfortunately, lost to Croatia, but they should be very proud of themselves, and I know the nation is, right. And it's really good to see in football, isn't it? To end off the year,
it was unbelievable, man. I rooted for them hard throughout the World Cup. Like I liked the way they were playing. I do feel like some of the talent there is going to be a little overhyped, but they have some amazing fullbacks. For example, they have good players overall, like Ziyech, an amazing winger as well. They reminded me of Turkey in 2002, which you could say is like another connection between the last time someone outside of Europe won the World Cup. But the difference is they do have some world-class players. Hakimi is one of the best right backs in the world. And it was exciting. It was really exciting. You love seeing this, right? Because it's it's always good to see some diversity, man. The World Cup, like it's been mainly Europe, and when you do have someone from outside of that, like it's usually South America. So when you have someone from outside that bubble, like I'm one of those that expects, that hopes Mexico and the US take that next step that they've been waiting for a long time. I always hope for Belgium to actually reach that status of one of the big national teams as well.
Good luck with that.
It's a freaking crime that Holland never won the World Cup. So I like seeing some different teams do well. And yeah, Morocco, like that was amazing to see. Amazing.
Yeah, it was indeed. And Michelle, it means a lot for the African continent, not just the Northern Africa, like Tunisia and Egypt, and that I'm sure will be in celebration with Morocco because they're close neighbours. But as an entirety of the African continent, it means a lot for a team just to get past that last hurdle that other teams haven't been able to do, right?
Right, exactly. And I think it represents a lot of people as well that aren't typically, have the light on them. I had Morocco going, well, I didn't have them going far, but I had them at least going pretty far. They seemed really great from the beginning. I didn't have them winning it though. That's the only thing. I think he was saying, I think they had a great team collectively, but they didn't have, the it factor, I guess, as Argentina would have if you compare the both, right? But I mean, I think it's still a really great achievement. I think another thing that was a little bit underrated was Luka Modric, and how he was also able to take Croatia all the way, till basically the very end. And he's such a humble guy too. But Morocco is a great representation as well as the humble people that also love the sport and have that respect. Obviously, they're very You saw them with their moms and hugging and the whole thing, right? You just feel their emotions. You watch it on TikTok too. So it was definitely more than football. And I think that's what's wonderful about the World Cup as well. It's that you get representation from other parts of the world that you typically don't see.
Yeah, you know what? We got a great Moroccan community in London, and literally they shut off all the streets. People were like on top of cars, waving flags. It was really good to see. It was like they brought the World Cup to London. It was really like, yes, it's brilliant to see. I'm Morocco all the way. Esteban, what did you make of this, mate?
It was simply beautiful, just about these things that Michelle was saying, celebrating with their families. But let's not forget about the fact that something that has been criticized to France, that they are not born in their country. We like to say that France is full of Africans, but if we take a look at the Morocco national team, is full of Europeans. So why is it different from France? Why do we point at France and say, hey, that's bad, you couldn't reach as far as you are without the Africans? But now we are all super happy about Morocco, but I think it has a different context, because they are full of they were born in Europe, not because they wanted to. It's just because their families were running away from Africa, and it's a bigger problem, a social problem. But the fact that they decided to play for this team is just beautiful. Like Hakimi, he was born in Spain, just dancing with his mother all over the field. And I think that this shows all the other teams, not only in Africa but Asia, South America, small countries, that they can do a great tournament. I mean, Morocco has done a better World Cup than an African nations cup. They haven't reached a semifinal in the African Nations Cup, so it's simply crazy. But that's the beauty of the World Cup. I mean, that's why it is called the World Cup. We expect to have this diversity in these kind of tournaments, and I'm super happy for them. And we expect to see them just creating a solid team for the near future, of course.
Yeah, I do. I hope to see another African nation host it. Maybe joint hosts. Maybe Egypt, Tunisia, and Morocco would work. Or I just think it should do, because I'm hearing a lot about maybe Saudi Arabia getting it way before other places, and it shouldn't be about the money. It should be about where you can develop football. Like Indonesia hasn't had it, Australia hasn't had it, Canada obviously is having it for the first time in 4 years. So I think these places deserve it first, but that's it. Again, each to their own. That's just my opinion. Let's read out a few comments before we go on to the next topic. Matt says there's no debate about the GOAT. There is only one GOAT, and that's Pele. He's saying it. He's saying it. Everyone else is an imitation or an imitator.
Yes.
Eredivisie Explorer with opinion, Matthew. Mbappe has the most World Cup final goals already at only 23. Effing amazing. Most World Cup final goals already at only 23.
Probably. He has 4.
He scored in the last one, hat-trick in this one.
It's mental.
It's ridiculous.
It's a couple thing. Thank you very much for coming in.
Luca.
Eredivisie Explorer says, if Leeds win, by the way, I'm going to go crazy. That's Luca, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Cuz was in Top Gun Maverick. He was flying a jet paper jet. Sounds cool. Jokes, Cuz. Hope you're well. My highlights was Twente making European football for sure. Yes, big up to FC Twente of the Eredivisie. That's brilliant. Obviously, you've only won the Eredivisie once, and that was under Steve McLaren, English manager. There you go. Actually, Steve McLaren is at United at the moment. There you go. There's the connection. You don't remember, Matt? Do I remember?
Is that not Sven? No, that's not Sven.
I don't know what. Don't you remember? What don't I remember? Please.
Me. He's saying me. You don't remember him.
I think it's either Tico or it's Sven.
Yeah, that's That's what I was.
Please let us know. Sorry, mate. I have forgot. It has been a while. Anthony Herbert, my highlight was we got a proper presenter on Gunners from All Corners and a better. but Marlie is always my number 2.
Not gonna argue there.
Ouch.
I'm a huge fan of Cousins. So
I think those are fighting words.
plus Cuz like 10 feet tall, 900 kilos. He's gonna beat me up if I say otherwise. So just gonna stay quiet.
Matt Bassett says, isn't it about time that European South American football started respecting African football? Good question. Anyone want to jump on that?
I don't think South America disrespects African football. You could say for Europe, but I'm not European. I don't live in Europe, so I can't really say that. The whole discussion, it's so interesting. I actually hadn't noticed what Esteban mentioned, and it's really interesting. I think the one point that makes it the dislike towards the Europeans is the colonization factor, right? So that's the why. But I think South America and Africa, they're so connected. There's such a strong African culture in South America because of the whole like horrible slave traditions that we had. So it's enrooted in us. So we're always supporting African nations. I think in general, if you see an African country playing against any other country, unless it's Brazil, I'm pretty sure we're going to be rooting for the African, even if it's one of our South American nations. So yeah, I don't know.
They started to get many great players like Mo Salah, like Sadio Mane. So this is just creating a fanatism right here in South America for those kind of players, because it's like maybe like 20-40 years ago right here in South America that we only had like one really famous player. They are maybe starting to get this kind of players in the European football, because we all point at the European football as the world top football around. So yes, definitely it's only that European footballers, not maybe the fans, started to disrespect the South American or the other confederations, starting from Mbappe, Belgian players like I think it was Thomas Meunier, that they said that the World Cup was a Euro Cup with one or two South American teams, and Mbappe saying that in South America there is no such as a good level as there is in Europe. So it started there. So it's just about the players that they had to create this. I don't know how to say it, but of course we respected the African teams, and we always root for the small team, because putting behind Brazil and Argentina, all of the South American teams are really small teams.
Yeah, and I think to your point, I also think that the reason, not to defend Mbappe, but I think that the reason he said that was because as the soccer world, we respect, as you said, Champions League and all these big clubs where, we see them as the top tier. So do you think these guys are actually sitting down and watching Liga MX or, other teams around the world? No, their bubble is so small. So I think that's why they think the way they think, because a lot of the superstars in other countries go to Europe. And I think that's why he said the ignorant comment that he said, because he hasn't been exposed to that. I mean, like, he's only 23 and just turned 23. So I think, yes, I understand the criticism, but I also understand his very, very closed mindset to the actual watching soccer at a more wide pool, I guess.
Wasn't that close? Like, people don't like my opinion on this, but was it that close-minded? I didn't hate. I know Mbappe is not like
right.
He's not, he's not mad. He's not a good guy like overall, but
right.
He's I wasn't too hurt by that statement.
I didn't have a problem.
I think he was talking about the players and the talent. I think he was talking overall like organization, just the tournaments in general, and he's right.
Right.
Like he definitely is.
Like
but
Brazil, Argentina, and Mexico are like quite behind the top 5 in Europe, so it makes sense. It's not.
it's not good to hear it,
Yeah.
as you know it. We
Yeah.
all know it, but it's not good to hear it from
Yeah.
them, because it's like, we know we are Europeans. I know I play in PSG. I know you watch your shitty football, so stick with it. But it's like, here, right here, we have a commentator in the national TV that he says, "I know you love Chelsea. I know you love Barcelona. I know you love Real Madrid, but your real love is right here in the National League." So of course, our top talents, they go to Europe. They are expecting to go to Europe because there's the money. So, if you take a look at the past, in the 50s, 60s, the best players in the world were right here in South America. The best football in the world was right here in
Yeah.
South America. Now it's the opposite. Who knows who is going, what is going to be in the near future? I know, maybe in 100 years in North America, maybe in Africa or Asia, but it's just how the world works. It just we just need to move, but it's kind of cocky to hear it
Yeah.
from these players.
Yeah, I completely agree, and you've got to be able to actually relate to it before you actually say something, maybe. So I do agree. It doesn't hurt me, but at the same time, it will hurt other people. But it's got to be said sometimes, isn't it? We'll move on to the next topic. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you are watching. Our next topic, which I'll let Michelle start off with, is LAFC, their first major trophies in the MLS, and Austin FC making the playoffs. It was a good feat for LAFC, wasn't it? The fact that they've only really started last couple of years, really, with Will Ferrell taking over and getting a few players in, especially Bale, giving them a platform around the world, people taking interest. What did you make of this? And of course, for Austin FC making the playoffs, and they are a very new club indeed, aren't they, Michelle?
Yes. So LAFC took the trophy for the first time, in MLS history. So big ups to them. They went against, though, a very underdog as well, Philadelphia. They were doing really good in their conference, in the Eastern Conference. LAFC was a powerhouse on the Western, so Austin FC was lower. So they were always first, top tier, and then second place, Austin FC. But yeah, like you said, they invested a lot of money in expensive players, and Bell, made that goal, and basically, put them with the W at the end for the final. But it was really great to see. I mean, I think there's starting to be this very weird rivalry. That was a tongue twister right there, against LAFC and Austin FC. But yeah, I mean, kudos to them. They have such a plethora of different players, from South America. Obviously Carlos Vela has been there for a while. But I mean, they were the favorites. Obviously, Philadelphia was the underdogs in that final. But it was a fun final to watch. I think it was like only my third one. I'm fairly newer to MLS, but it didn't disappoint. I think MLS in general is growing. It's very fun to watch now. Austin FC, obviously, my home is Austin. So after finishing second in the table, going all the way to the Western Conference Finals, flying out there. They beat LAFC twice in the season. Obviously, the third time they got knocked out. So they couldn't go to the final, but they did such a good job with such a low budget team, I guess you would say. Josh Wolf is about this mindset of not getting really expensive players. He hopes that this next season, Johan Valencia, who from Deportivo Cali, who we got but was injured for a really good while of the season, gets more minutes. But obviously they had a really great chemistry. Really, Sebastian Driussi is the top scorer of the teams, and Brad Stuber, some really great penalties that he saved. Obviously, as we got to the final, because we went to penalties against RSL, But yeah, it was great. It was fun to watch. It's going to be exciting to see what 2023 holds in store for them. They've gotten a lot of younger strikers. The draft just happened from college, the NCAA draft. And then, yeah, we'll see what happens in the defense. Like I said, hopefully Valencia comes back healthy, but the defense, I think, is one of the areas that they may struggle with as the season starts to get closer in February. But yeah, that's kind of in a nutshell from my point of view, what I saw MLS, and it's really fun to watch. I'm also getting to learn myself other South American players that are coming to MLS, and they don't want to go to Mexico, they don't want to go to Europe, they kind of want to go here and hopefully go to Europe, because obviously that would be obviously great. And I know Leeds was interested in Sebastian Driussi for a whole minute. I don't think that's going to happen, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. So
big things possibly for Austin FC. Guys, Marlie and Esteban, what did you make of this for LAFC and Austin FC getting so far in such little time of actually being a club? It's good achievements.
I'm sure you have more to say than I do, my man. Go ahead. I'll say something. In
not really. Actually, I tried to follow the Colombian players, and I was really happy for Chicho Arango winning the trophy with LAFC, because he actually played for the team that I support right here in Colombia. He used to play for Millonarios. You see it right there next to Vela and Bell. So that was super exciting, because I think he's a player that can be useful for the national team in the near future. I think that he's like 27. And as you guys said, the MLS is growing fast, because they are just full of great players. And now the American players are showing that they are really, really competitive compared to not only South American, but Mexican players as well. And the fact that they are just full of players like we say right here, Gareth Bale, Giorgio Chiellini, but also young players, talented players like Ricky Puig, the one who used to play for Barcelona, and he decided to go to United States to play. It just says good things about how they are handling the football right there. So it is super exciting to see those kind of tournaments, and of course always a new winner in every single tournament is excited for the sport, not only for the fans but for the sport as well.
Probably Bale's last trophy domestically, right, Marlie? Possibly.
That makes sense. Bale's someone that kind of like he looked to have given up on his career. I like to see him doing well now. Like apparently he scored a goal. I haven't been following, but I do want to address the Colombian team very quickly in the end of my monologue here. But on the MLS, like what I find really cool, like it's the fastest growing league in the world, and it's the only like good league where you have the possibility of a new team, like a team that was just created, just founded, right? Like can actually find success. Imagine like Matt becomes a billionaire and he creates a team in England, starting from, I don't know, the 8th division or whatever. Mate, in 8 years, you're gonna have like I don't know how many divisions are in England, 7, 6, I don't know, like 5. Anyway,
there's about 770 teams in England.
Okay, so there you go. You're gonna go like up divisions. If you reach the Premier League in like 10 years, you're gonna have 200 fans, which is like 2 or 3 more than Manchester City has. It's like you're not gonna get that status of a big club. And in the US, it's possible because of the way they structure things, and that's really cool. And I'm not sure it's on purpose, but the MLS becomes a lot more attractive as well for people that are just becoming soccer or football fans, because they focus a lot more on the attack and the defense. You watch the highlights, you see some good offensive play, but mate, the defending could be better. She said it for Austin, but overall, you see some very basic defending there. So it attracts people. But if the US and Mexico want to grow as, well, just because of the connection, right? If they want to grow as national teams, it's important that they start focusing on the defending as well. But just you, my man, you mentioned that that player could be interesting for Colombia in the future. Are you guys looking at John Arias? Do you feel like he could be in the future as well, like someone that could be exciting because he's been balling?
We made fun because John Arias right here in the National League wasn't that great, but um, is just like where he is from, and his physics, like he is small, he is really thin, and he's super fast. It's just the kind of player that every single team wants. So of course he has grown up a lot right now, and we are expecting to start seeing a lot of changes in our team. I mean, we thank Falcao, we thank Cuadrado, we thank James Rodriguez, but I think their time is over. And we need guys like John Arias, like Chichuarango, players in the domestic league like Daniel Ruiz, like, I don't know, there are so many names right now. But definitely, if he can get to Europe, I think that will be the best thing possible to us as Colombians, because if we want to be, we think that way. If you want to be competitive in a World Cup, in a Copa America, you need to have a lot of players playing in Europe in top teams. It's not like the 80s, the 70s anymore, that you could just get a group of domestic players and do great in whatever tournament you play. But definitely, I think that it will depend on him, because he has a lot of exposure in the Brazilian league. Every Brazilian kid is just like 50 million euros right now, possibly. So, but we always say that, okay, we are Colombians. We are not as wealthy, as rich as the Brazilian league, but maybe John Arias is not 50, 60 million euros.
No.
But definitely, if he can get a better level, and he can get to Europe, he will be the one in the future with players. I think that Watford has two young Colombian players, one as a defensive, and the other one is a winger. So those three names, that they are also under its 20s. So there are good names around.
Yeah, there's a lot of youth.
Thank you.
A lot of youth from South America at Watford. I know you were saying that Pedro's one of them as well.
They just got another kid from Fluminense, Matheus Henrique.
Right, they love it, don't they?
Yeah.
The Italian owners, they seem to have a really good trade in South America.
Matheus Martins. Sorry, Matheus Martins. Matheus Henrique is a totally different player.
He's done.
My bad.
We're just going to read out a few comments and we'll go on to the next topic. Solo's in the house. Big up the Panels. Big up Solo. Jordan from Jamaica. Big up Jordan. Liverpool fan. He's bigging up Melina and Solo. Matt Bassett says the Napoli owner disrespected African football by admitting that he wouldn't sign any African players unless they had it in their contract that they can't play. He did that. Is actually true, and wow. Hopefully we're making progress from that, because it's getting out there in the media and people are realizing sometimes what people do is wrong, and that certainly is. Anthony Herbert, press that like button. Yes, please do. Get it over 20 if you can. Smash the like, share, subscribe. Bill Baggio from the Man United Agenda says, at Matthew Bassett, Fergie wouldn't sign African players, I believe, for the same reason. He would lose important players at an important part of the season. This could be true. Have to look into it, people. Bill Baggio, Matthew Bassett, but Fergie didn't say, right, we're getting into one here, aren't we? Bill, he signed Quinton Fortune, who's South African. There we go. Look, not exactly the elite player. Fair enough here. Bill, I get no signing them, because if but no to be a something about it should just go to business. Yeah, you're right, Matty. Like I said, the Napoli owner said it like an arsehole. I can't say that word. That's fine. Big up to Football versus Cancer in the house.
Yes.
Big up,
yes, Martian. Zorgian.
Yeah, the Martian. Yeah, from Zorg. Edmund, who plays for Leverkusen, was fired during the tournament. He says, big up talk. Yo, Matthew. Bill says, I think the World Cup missed more of the African teams. Maybe it should have been expanded for Africa, Asia, where there are very good this World Cup as well. Bill says, definitely. And Bahia Cuz, we're back, says Anthony.
Yes,
Moving on to the next subject.
And Bahia is now owned by the City Group. So you're gonna see Bahia do some.
They will start to wear like this light blue kits as well.
You know what? I'm not sure. I'm sure they're gonna have at least one of those. Bahia is usually white. It's white with a little bit of blue, and it's usually darker blue and red. But I'm assuming they're gonna have at least one of those like sky blue kits. And I'm happy for it, man, because the Northeast doesn't usually have a lot of competitive teams, and they're from the Northeast. I hope they grow. Not enough to like beat Fluminense.
Very interesting indeed. Very interesting. Esteban, take us away with this one, mate. Millonarios winning Copa Colombia with manager Alberto Gamero. You said it had been quite a while since they lifted the cup, and it was a great feat for your club. You are a supporter, mate. Please do roll us into how important this was for football in 2023.
I can just be objective with this. It's my team, and for those who doesn't know, the Copa Colombia is just our league's cup, maybe like the Carabao Cup or the Copa del Rey, something like this. Somehow we always, and the football league, the Colombian league, works very similar like the Mexican league and the United States league. They have a playoff system, and somehow in the league system we always are the best. But when we get into the playoff, it's just like the tournament just goes away from us. And our coach Alberto Gamero, he used to play for us in the 80s, and he has been successful as a manager right here in Colombia. And since he got the team in 2020, he had already like 2 finals lost, and there is a lot of I don't know how to say it, like kind of frustration around the fans and the footballers. So this trophy was just what we all needed to get that frustration away. We are full of young players, very talented, and we are also full of senior players like Macalister Silva. He is our captain, and just the fact that we could lift these trophies, first, as I said, just take the frustration away, and it also allow us to play the Copa Libertadores in the first round. So we are facing Universidad Católica, that's a team from Ecuador, and if we handle to pass that round, we will be facing Atlético Mineiro. We expect to face Atlético Mineiro. So, but we can see, but we are excited. We as fans, we are excited for this because Alberto Gamero deserves it, because there are so many players that have been working a lot with the team, for the team. You see them, they're starting from kids in the academy and now lifting their first trophy with the club that they love. It's simply amazing. And it's the biggest club right here in Bogota. It's one of the biggest clubs right here in Colombia. And we are really famous in South America because it was the team from Alfredo Di Stefano went to Real Madrid. So we definitely are looking ahead the future. And we needed this because we trust in Gamero as our manager, but now we want to be in the Libertadores. It's not going to be an easy path, because if we face Mineiro, is a team just built that is worth 120 million euros. Millonarios is just like 20 euros between all its players, but I mean, it's the beauty of football. We expect to be there. And it was just amazing for us, like closing the year with this cup.
What's the significance of Alberto Gamero, mate? I know you wanted to talk a lot about him and what he has achieved and where he can go from here, really.
Well, he's kind of an icon for us because he used to play in the 80s when he was player. He played for us, and actually we spent like 23 years from 88 to 2012 without any trophy. He was there in the 88 when we won. So those players from the 80s are just loved right here in the city. And when he started his manager career, he has won in every single team he's been into. So 3 years already with Millonarios, not lifting a single trophy. He lost two finals against two I like close rivals right here. So that's why I speak a lot about frustration, because he is an icon for us, and he has been a great coach for every single team. And why aren't we able to win these trophies? We have such a great squad right here for our domestic league. So what is happening that when we go into the playoff, is like the players just get scared, like they just think about like, okay, we lost last year, are we going to lose this year as well? So it's just this situation, and of course we are super happy for the players as well, but most of the Millonarios fans were happy about Alberto Gamero winning a trophy with the team that he used to play and the team that he loves as well.
Who did they play in the final?
We played against Union Magdalena. It is a small team from the northern. Yeah, it is the team from Santa Marta, the place that you want to visit right here in Colombia. Yeah. It was a kid like very similar to the Barcelona, like red and blue, very similar. I play against them.
The reason I ask is because last year Deportivo Cali won, right?
Yeah, they took us. They took us in the semifinal.
Okay.
We lost against Deportivo Cali in the semifinal, and that Cali's victory was kind of
historical too, right?
It was historical, but they weren't the best team. They handled to win the trophy, and now they are trying to get away of the relegation zone. Mm-hmm. So it's just the beauty of the playoff system,
Yeah.
Just 8 teams can get into the playoffs. You can be the first one unbeaten during the league's game, and if you get 8th, you get the same chances as the first one. So
nice, congrats. That's why the reason I asked is because we took like 2 players from Deportivo Cali. I mean Austin FC. So it was new to me to listen to who these players were, etc., etc.
We are expecting to start being more competitive, speaking about South American football, because right now South American football is just ruled by Brazil and Argentina. Mm-hmm. But of course we need, there are a lot of problems behind, like the federation or the television system, where the money goes. But we are trying to get in there, and we are getting new signings to try to beat Atletico Mineiro. So I hope that Marlie will root for us to get Mineiro out.
I'll be rooting for you for sure.
Yeah, Marlie. 100%. Any thoughts on this before we move on to the next topic?
Not a thought, but a weird turn, my friend. I hope you don't get mad at me. But can you put Gamero's picture back up?
I can indeed.
Just because this channel, I've been absent for a long time, but this is not only about football, even though the name's Football United TV. This is about culture. And this haircut here is very cultural, right? Like there was a whole generation.
It's like a poor man's.
It's a Colombian
Valderrama, isn't it? It's a poor man's Valderrama, surely.
Yeah, he used to play with Valderrama. Can you please? I will send you this link. Just I will send you a link from a picture, and you see it right there. He is really well dressed. Just give me 1 second.
He reminds me of my dad.
He's always like this. I just sent it right here in the chat, but I don't know how you say in English, like the manillas in English, bracelets. Yeah, he's full of bracelets. Mm-hmm. Yeah. If you can show us this picture, he's all with the bracelets, a lot of rings, a lot of necklaces.
Okay.
It's part of the Colombian culture.
Yeah, what's the name of the haircut though? Because it's a generational haircut in Colombia, isn't it? Like I think about Colombia when I see that head. Like just
I really don't know. I'm just going bald right now, so I hope I can get the haircut as Gomez.
Is that it?
You see, yeah, that's the one. You see, with all the
Brazaletes.
bracelets, yes, and he has a lot of necklaces and the rings. He's just really, really, really Colombian, and he used to play for the domestic league for many years, and he had the same look. And if you take a look at Valderrama, maybe our most iconic player, he's just like him,
Yeah.
but white. He's not as white as Valderrama, but he's definitely a great coach. Actually, he was one of the ones in the table to get the Colombian national team. But right here, we don't bet for our domestic coaches, unfortunately.
yeah.
Well, it's well done to them indeed, mate. Millonarios winning the Copa Colombia with the manager Alberto Gamero. I hope you've learned something there, everybody, because I certainly have as well. And please do check out South American football because it's very important to spread the word of football around the world. Moving on, Marlie, to the final talk, and it's from you, mate. It's talking about Arsenal, top of the Premier League
Yes.
for New Year's. Tell us, mate, how are you feeling about this? I mean, you wouldn't have expected it at the start of the Premier League. Everyone was saying, I don't even think top four at the moment. Just a process, trust in the process. But Arteta's kept them up there pretty much since the start of the season. Amazing feat. What's your thoughts, bro? I haven't heard from you about Arsenal for a very long time, so I'm waiting.
I'm happy, Matt. I'm happy. I'm happy. It's been really exciting to see. And I've had my ups and downs with Arteta, but I've doubted him in the past as well. But it's been phenomenal, man. I know that it's tough. It's going to be tough to compete with City. I still feel like they're going to win the league. They're eventually going to overtake us. But just like if we get second place, like with the team we have, like with a different investment, with the youth we have in our club, like it's exciting and it's looking good for the future, man. We're not run the same way that Man City is, that even United or Chelsea are. We don't usually have like those huge players come in for huge money. So it's been exciting. Everyone like GMAG that you're pointing, you have him there because I'm a huge fan of his. He's been one of our like least impressive players when you're talking about the first 11 because Granit Xhaka has been a god. By the way, I know that we have GFAC. That's my former show. I feel like it's dangerous for me to go back there because Arsenal's been doing so well ever since I stepped down. So if Anthony invites me, I feel like I'm gonna decline. Just talk some Arsenal when I come and do a stream with Maddie because like it's brought us good luck because Arsenal's won 14, drew one, and lost one against United. We didn't even play poorly. Like that was a good game. That was a good even game. And it's been fantastic. Morten Odegaard, all of a sudden, one of the best midfielders in the world. Thomas Partey, one of the best midfielders in the world. Our attacking trio, like Jesus doesn't score a lot of money, a lot of goals. Sorry, my bad. But
Score money.
he definitely scores a lot of money. But he's so efficient. He helps us so much, and he's injured now. And Nketiah stepped up. I know most Arsenal fans aren't too excited to see Nketiah start too many games. We know there's a limit to what he can do, but he's still a good goal scoring player, man. And like a decent striker that's gonna like probably gonna get more goals than Jesus. Actually, it's just that he helps us less. And yeah, exciting. If we manage to keep this up and get a couple of good players in this next transfer window, and it I feel like we're building something interesting that we could be competing like year after year against City, against maybe Liverpool, if United finds the right tracks as well. And yeah, it's been fun. I kind of want to chat to I want to chat with my like my Arsenal people because they aren't usually the most optimistic people. So I want to see what Cousin feels like nowadays, what Steven is thinking, what he's feeling right now because it's like you can't be talking any crap about Arteta right now. Like if you want to give someone a Manager of the Year award in England, it should probably be him. Like with what he's doing at Arsenal, it's remarkable. It's It's remarkable.
Michelle Esteban, got anything to say about how Arsenal are in the Premier League at the moment?
No, I mean, I just think he has a lot of FOMO. He wants to go back to his people.
I just got a question for Marley. When we discuss about the Premier League, or for example, teams like Manchester City, they have a large squad full of competitive players. But when you take a look at Arsenal, they are not. They don't have such a solid squad like the bench. Do you think that Arteta got eliminated from the Carabao Cup on purpose just to get a tournament less? So he has his starting 11 like more prepared for the league. Because if I were Arteta, I would definitely focus on winning the Premier League. I think that's the best thing possible for a team in England. But I mean, you still are in the Europa League, right?
Yeah.
So,
I'd say we're one of the favorites to win, actually. But,
yeah,
definitely. We're still in it. We're still in it.
Definitely. So is maybe Arteta trying to put first the Premier League and just get rid of any other cup, because he does not have a large squad or significant competitive players.
Yeah. I mean, I can't say for sure, and I never thought about that. But when you're now that you're mentioning it, it makes some sense, just because that game was so out of the curve when you're talking about like our performances throughout the season. Like we've had like one or two bad games. That was one of those two. So it makes some sense. Even if we stayed in that competition, I'm sure we'd be rotating a lot. Like you wouldn't see, but just because our squad is so thin, like so thin, we don't actually, like FIFA players out there. We don't have our like sub team, right? Like we don't have that second lineup. If you want Arsenal to play a game where you have none of the starters, you're gonna have some youth players in there. We just don't have the numbers, and we definitely don't have the quality in the squad to be rotating as much as City does, or even as much as Liverpool does, maybe even United. We're thin, and we're trying to address that. But it's tricky though, because the team's playing so well together, so well. And you bring in, like, for instance, people are worried about Jesus being injured and Ketcha's playing. You bring in a striker, like Jesus comes back in February. Then in Ketcha, like, he's going to be the third option as a striker. Like, if it's someone to compete with Jesus, like, is it going to be playing the same way? Is it not going to disrupt the football overall? Plus, you have Balogun coming back. Like, it's tricky. I like the way Arsenal's been doing their business. Like, we're bringing the players we need. It's been smart. Like the days of your Williams and André Santos and David Luiz and Mkhitaryan, like those days seem to be over.
Yeah. I was going to say, I haven't kept up. Is Marcelo Flores still playing with the academy there? You mentioned the academy.
He's loaned out. He's on loan in Spain right now. I follow the youth players that are loaned out. I don't think Marcelo Flores has been like phenomenal, but he's like, from the youth players, like he's one of the ones I'm hoping to stand out the most, because I don't know, like I feel like he's more loved in Mexico already than he is in Arsenal, and he's so talented. The way he celebrates his goals is so fun to watch as well. He's like a mini Ronaldinho as well. Like, he's so tricky. I hope he becomes something, but I don't think he's doing too well in Spain. I think he's on loan in the second division.
Did you know that there is a goalkeeper, a Colombian goalkeeper in the under 18s? Under 18s, okay. 18s, sorry. Under 18s, a Colombian goalkeeper in Arsenal, actually.
Oh, really? No, I was not aware of that.
Alexei Rojas is his name.
All right. Cool.
Anything else, Michelle, there you wanted to put in on Arsenal there?
No, I was just going to say he's you said Ronaldo, he's really fast. I hope he's one of the players that go to the next World Cup to represent Mexico. But that's it. I mean, big ups to Arsenal. We'll see how things pan out.
Yeah, he might want to leave Arsenal to do that, unfortunately, but I hope he becomes good enough. No, just because, like, the problem with academy players now, like, they can see a route, like they can see, like the pathway to the starting team. But then again, like you don't have aging players,
Right.
so either someone leaves or you have to like imagine someone trying to become better than Bukayo Saka, who's phenomenal at 21.
Right.
So it's a tough path. So he might want to go like permanently to a Spanish club. But let's see. I hope he develops a little faster because he's an
Yeah,
exciting player for sure. He's someone
for
I've
sure.
I've always kept my eye on.
So a quick run around then. Do you think Arsenal will be at the top of the table by the end of the season? Michelle?
No.
No. Esteban?
I hope so. I really want them to win the Premier League.
Okay, there you go. You got one up, one down, Marley. Marley, you're clearly going to say yes. I'm going to say no.
I mean, my stance is Esteban's. Like, I definitely want Arsenal to win. Absolutely, 100%. If I was to place a bet, I feel like it would be financially responsible to bet on City. Still, like they have such a huge squad. They have an amazing team and a manager that's even better than Arteta. Like you can't. Pep's the best manager in history. So yeah, it's. I hope we can do it. If they lose points against Leeds, mate, I'm dreaming. I'm dreaming. Like let me dream, but it's tough.
Well, yeah. Anthony says you look like Guendouzi, or you once did, anyway. So I don't know
I
whether it's
love
a
you,
good player
cuz.
to look like because I know Arsenal don't like him too much.
No.
So to finish off, because we literally got a few minutes left. Sorry for everybody for going over. Smash the like, share, subscribe if you have watched. Give it a share if you can. It really does mean a lot. We're going to ask each and everybody now to give your message to everybody for a happy new year 2023. What you'd like to say to end off this year that we've had in football and in general. So let's start off with you first, Michelle.
Yes. Hello, everyone. Thank you. I hope everyone had an amazing 2022 year. What can I say? Soccer is basically what brings us all together, and I hope to continue doing that in the next coming year. And everyone tune in the summer to watch the Women's World Cup. And yeah, I mean, I wish everyone the best in achieving whatever goals you may have outside of the sports or if it is in sports. And I just hope I get to continue to make new friends abroad that is outside of the States. That's it.
I'm one of those. You've got one. You've got a friend in me. All right, mate. Thank you,
Adore that,
Michelle.
man.
And I hope you have a happy new year. And I'm pretty sure we'll see more to come of you because you've done amazing in your journalism and presenting of football. And I just want to congratulate you as well for the amazing work that you do, especially for us coming on. So happy new year, okay, mate? Esteban.
Okay, so I mean, I'm super grateful of being right here, guys. First, starting the show with Marley speaking about South American football. It was an amazing year for me, and I just hope that you all enjoyed your New Year's Eve night, and wishing a 2023 with the best, with only the best for every single people in the panel, every single people that we have shared with, and for all your families. Please stay safe, please enjoy um, your night, and that's it. I hope that I can be around a little more with you guys in the next year as well.
Yeah, thank you, Esteban. Look, it's meant a lot to me as well. You coming on, I think I first reached out to you to do the World Cup shows because I know you was on one of Marley's shows for the FITA, and I was
Yeah.
like, I need to get Esteban back on. So I'm glad to have that reconnected, mate. And I hope you have a bloody fantastic new year out there in Colombia, mate. And I shall be out
Thank
there
you.
next new year, mate. So maybe I'll bump into you for a
Yeah,
cheeky,
yeah. Hit me up. I'll be right here.
cheeky wino. Yes, indeed. Marley, last but not least, mate, welcome back on the channel. We did this New Year's show together last year, didn't we, mate?
I'm
I
sure
did
we did.
enjoy
Yeah.
it. It's very fantastic. If you haven't seen it, do go look back. But Marley, what's your New Year message for everybody? How was 2022? And also, where can we find you?
Well, 2022 is definitely a year with a lot of change. in my life. That's why I had to step down from the channel, and it's I miss this very much, but it's been exciting. When change is good, you embrace it. I hope in 2023 I have a little more time to show myself a little more in here, participate in the channel that I love very much. But I hope you all have an amazing new year. The day itself and the year, I hope it's we've had a couple of really tough years overall, like in the world. So I'm hoping that your year's amazing and your families as well. And I hope that we're more accepting of one another, that we're kinder to one another. The world is always in need of kindness. And speaking of that, I do wanna finish my piece here, like by saying that I hope you keep supporting this channel. It's run by, well, there's a lot of really great people involved, like Takem, you and Anthony, some of my favorite people. But this guy right here, Maddie, like he's one of the best human beings you can meet. Like he's one of those guys that's he's gonna help you just because he likes helping people, because he feels good doing that. And he's not gonna ask for anything in return. He's just a good, kind-hearted person. And he deserves, like, he works hard to give you guys entertainment. So keep supporting him, help this channel grow. So hit the likes, subscribe, share this as much as you can. And yeah, let's help this good channel that's doing good stuff.
I'm glad your acting skills are up to scratch. I'm glad you wrote the script well that I gave you for that. Joking. Brilliant. Thank you so much, Marlie. It's the same back always, mate. You've really helped out the channel over the years. You are still, to me, a co-owner. Whenever you want to come back, you're more than welcome, sir. And that's in everything. If you ever want to come to London, you guys come over, have a few pints. We'll take you to a non-league football game, because they're probably the best, to be honest. You'll really get your feet dug in deep on that. Bill Baggio says, top show, people. Yes, thank you, everybody, for tuning in today. Smash the like, share, subscribe. Actually, before I do, because I think one thing we didn't do is tell everybody where they can find you. So, Michelle, first, where can everybody find you?
Sure, you guys can find me on Michelle S_TV.
Thank you, Michelle. Esteban?
At Sphil in both Twitter and Instagram. And also, I'm starting to stream on Twitch. You can find me there as well.
Thank you, May. And Marlie?
It's really not worth it following me on Twitter anymore. Like, I don't do anything there.
Don't say that.
You want to follow me on Instagram? You can. You see some funky acting stuff and like some weird looking pictures. So at Charlie Millen 93, and yeah, I'll follow you back.
Oh, isn't
that
kind?
It?
That's it. We'll cut it there. Everybody have a brilliant New Year's. And we should see you after the new year. And Music United TV will be making an appearance, so check out for that. But until the new year, everybody, because I'm going off to Amsterdam in a couple of days, going to party it up.
Fun!
I can't wait. Honestly, I can't wait. Good couple of days away. So I might do a vlog out there. You never know. Might be drunk, so please, be warned. Okay.
Get a TikTok. Get a TikTok so we can follow you.
I think Michelle's right. I've got to get a TikTok.
You should. You really should.
Take care, everybody. Enjoy your New Year's. Bye-bye.
Bye. Feliz año.
Ciao.